right, so why were we back on the main menu again? Well, that's because if you go to the Xbox dashboard, you can download a free DLC pack that has a deleted scene called Road to Ruin. What is this? What is this? It's an alternate
crash level.
I'll let Cliff tell you guys what it is. Cliff, if you don't mind, after the load screen. Yeah, the logo is very cute, Cliff, but come on.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Cliff Blazinski. I'm design director here at Epic Games, and sometimes when you're making a game, certain pieces have to be edited out or
please come back, Cliff.
For any
Amen to that.
Or at least get your shit together. Your last couple of games were horrible.
What were his last couple of games?
Lawbreakers and then that free-to-play that went nowhere.
Oh God! How did he get to such a level?
Bad marketing.
Is he still with Epic?
No.
No. He left Epic right after Gears 3.
Ah.
Anyway, yeah, deleted stuff.
Alright, so basically what this amounts to is an alternate way of doing this scene. Okay, so we're back to right after Maria died.
I'm sorry about Maria, but she's in a better place now. You did what you had to do.
Literally pulled an old Yeller on her.
So yeah, in the main campaign, he says, I found a way to sneak in, blah, blah, blah.
I found a way to sneak into Nexus. But if you want to go in guns blazing, I don't blame you.
And now you actually get to choose. So let's actually choose to use stealth instead.
No, Marcus. Let's do it your way. Give me the damn helmet.
I'm actually, I kind of wish they would have, if you bought the DLC, I kind of wish they would have implemented this in the actual main campaign itself instead of having it be its separate deleted scene thing.
What would have been cool is if, like, you know, this deleted scene was actually playable in the special features manual.
Well, that's the thing, Joe. But this scene, hold
on. Best these guys ever.
Wait, hold on.
This deleted scene is actually an alternate version of the chapter that we played in the previous part, basically. I kind of wish they would have implemented this into the actual main game itself, like literally insert this as an alternate way to play that part in the main game, instead of just putting it in an extra thing in the menu.
Maybe they would have if we'd gotten a remake of Gears of War 2.
Yeah, I actually do wonder how it would have played out, potentially, for the Ultimate Edition treatment.
Did we ever find out why the Coalition actually didn't follow through with remakes of 2 and 3?
Remember, Jova, I've already mentioned this. Remember, Jova, the Xbox backwards compatibility program eliminated the need for it.
Alright, yeah.
At that point, not to mention, you know, Coalition then started instead moving forward with the series.
Speaking of moving forward, I'll ask Pedro a bit after we've done this deleted scene.
Okay, basically, okay, like Marcus just said, basically he managed to find these locust outfits, armor outfits, that allow to cover their smell, although not that much. So even though the locust will mistake you for one of them, it's not a good idea to get close to them because they'll be able to see right through your disguise if you get close to them. So make sure, yeah, there you go. And Mark, and in typical NPC faction, Dom will help you. Dom will always tell you, okay, hold on, there's a patrol. And when the patrol is away, he'll tell, okay, all right, let's go now. So you'll be able to tell when it's safe to go.
I wonder if maybe the reason this deleted scene was left out was because they didn't have time to properly, I don't know, map out how this would go, seeing as how it seems like the gameplay sequence
they left it in this simple state.
Yeah, my guess is they were originally planning on having it. However, eventually the deadline was coming, so something had to be deleted, so this was it. Which is perfectly fine. I just wish that, and to be fair, the pack that comes with this thing is free. So you don't have to pay for it, to be fair.
Nice.
However, I do wish that instead of just putting this deleted chapter as just a self-contained thing where you just play this one part and that's it, to go back to the main menu after you finish this 24-odd minute thing. I kind of instead of doing
Was
this,
integrated better, yeah.
it just integrated into the main campaign itself. Remember, and for those, well, that's the thing. In case you're wondering, no, you wouldn't have to play the entire game again to get to this point to see it anyway, because there's a chapter select menu in the Gears games, so you can just go straight to a specific chapter. So
That's
you would be able to jump immediately to the new content once you downloaded this deal.
A couple of games actually have still this practice. Normally it works better if the DLC episode is like an epilogue or a continuation of the story, so it works better with the pace because it's set after the game is over and everything. But a couple of them are for events that happen right in the middle. The best usage that I've seen was, oddly enough, Azura's Wrath, where the mid chapters, the DLC mid chapters, the one that made in anime style, were actually integrated with the chapter select function in the proper order instead of being confined on the side. Weird.
Mm-hmm. You were saying something, Joe, about moving forward?
Yeah, Pedro, I understand that you have completed Gears of War 5.
As at the time, yes. But
without spoiling, would you say we're in for a good time?
Okay.
So Scott McNeil voices the villain.
You wish.
Okay. Let me put it like this. As a cover-based shooter, Gears 5 is a perfectly fine game.
Not counting the multiplayer.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. Thanks, Joey. Yeah, especially because Gears fans will tell you that Gears fans mostly, don't get me wrong, they care about the campaign too, but the primary main attraction to Gears fans is always the multiplayer, especially Horde mode.
I thought it was more Halo.
Both Halo and
Gears. Both of them lives.
Both of them lives. Both of them actually. It's because Gears of War, this game in particular right now is the one where Horde mode debuted, and it's the most popular multiplayer mode of Gears. So even though the campaigns were great, most of the time it's kind of like again most of the playtime in these games, since the campaigns are 8 hours long, most of your playtime and replay value comes from the multiplayer modes, of course.
Basically, just when it comes to Gears, fans would come for the campaign, but they'd stay for the multiplayer.
It also helps with that the two games play the shooter idea in a completely different manner, meaning that even if fans gravitate towards the multiplayer, they do it for different reasons.
Anyway, you were saying, Pedro?
Okay, so like Jova hinted at, yes, and you can check video, and if you need videos describing, because I haven't tried out the Gears multiplayer because I'm personally not interested in getting into it, since I have other games I want to move on after I'm done with the series. I'm only mostly just interested in the single player, really. I'm not trying to say that the multiplayer is bad or anything. Again, I haven't even tried it, so I can't even say anything otherwise. Anyway, it's just that I'm not interested. But I acknowledge the greatness that I'm sure the original trilogy has with its multiplayer. So that's fine. Where was I? Yeah. So basically, everybody, if you want to take a good look at what are the problems with the multiplayer modes of Gears 5, check Shepard Gaming's channel, where he has plenty of Gears 5 videos where he explains in a very well-constructed way about what the problem is. Not just the microtransactions, but even how broken the multiplayer modes are. You can also check this channel called JZ. Oh God, it's kind of hard to pronounce, but here's what you do, guys. Go to YouTube, search Gears 5 dev stream, because the guy always covers the because the developers of Gears 5, believe it or not, they do regular developer streams where they answer fans' questions, and by answering fan questions, I mean they only answer the questions that's convenient for them. Because there's been plenty of fans who have asked questions that kind of expose how bad their game is, and they've conveniently ignored those questions. But that's yeah. But yeah, basically, everybody, the multiplayer of Gears 5 is broken. There's a lot of unbalanced issues and all this stuff. If you want to get details, there are those two YouTube channels that I just mentioned. Again, search Gears 5 dev stream, you'll find the channel. Trust me, it will be easy to find. And Shepard Gaming, both these channels do a really good job describing what's wrong with the multiplayer. So, So don't go by me, go by those guys, because those guys are actually big Gears veterans, so they know their shit. As for the campaign, Okay, so like I said, the Gears 5 single-player campaign as a cover-based shooter is perfectly fine. Although there are some problems I have with the gameplay, even like some they're minor problems, but they're kind of annoying. I'll mention them more when we get to that. The big problem with that game is the story. Like it's
Would you say it's everything people feared it was going to be with the very scarcely shown trailers that we got of that campaign?
It's not okay. Okay, if I'm going to give it credit, it's not a Ghostbusters 2016 scenario. At least not for the most part. There are moments where it does go there, but it's not like a complete woke atrocity. If that's because that's what a lot of fans
No,
were
no, no.
worried about that.
I know. It was just the term you used.
Well, remember that's what the fans themselves call it, Teo. So I'm just going by
Sure,
what the
sure,
fans call
sure,
it.
sure. Don't worry.
Basically, a lot of fans like to call Gears 5 Gears of Woke.
Of course.
So-
But no, if I had to guess, it's insipid at best.
It's insipid. Well, okay. If I'm going to
That's
give some credit,
being light.
it does have its occasional good moments here and there. There's a scene in particular involving Baird. Yeah, figures that the best scene in the game involves one of the old characters. There's a scene involving Baird, and that's actually pretty funny. And it involves him and a new AI computer that he created. And the banter between him and basically it's a robot, but it's a computer that just recently discovered sarcasm.
Oh boy.
And as a result, there's some really cool banter between Baird and the computer. You'll be able to see for yourself. But yeah, the movie does occasionally have some good moments. I'm not gonna say that there aren't good moments in there, because there are. Unfortunately, they're too few and too far in between, because most of the story is, let's just say I don't particularly care for the decisions it makes and how they went out of the... And let's just say, Teo, the whole thing about turning Kate into the main character, even though JD was supposedly the main character of this new trilogy, let's just say it went nowhere. And that's all I'll say for now.
So I take it still opens up for a sixth game.
It does. No, the game pretty much ends on a cliffhanger.
Oh,
Pretty
okay.
much. It's not like a dun 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 type
Although,
of cliffhanger, but
although given a certain thing in Gears 5, you have to wonder how they're going to decide what's canon.
oh, that yeah. Basically, Teo, there's a moment in the last chapter where you have to make a choice, a hard choice, and the cutscene, the remaining cutscenes after that will change accordingly. So I'm actually, like Jova said, I'm actually wondering maybe what they'll do. Well, remember Jova, Gear 6. Remember Jova, Gear 6 will most likely be Xbox One, because remember Microsoft said that the first 2 years of the Xbox will have cross-gen stuff. So my guess, Jova, is since Gear 6 is going to be on the Xbox One, most likely, Jova, the game will load your Gears 5 save file and go from there.
Ah, so pulling a Mass Effect or a Telltale. Interesting.
It would make sense. It would be pretty easy for them to do that. So if they don't, if they just allow you to pick, okay, what did you choose when you played Gears 5? Now that would be lazy.
Oh, pray to God that they don't do what Telltale tends to do and make your choice pointless by offing whoever you chose.
It's relatively easy to do this. Just load the gear. Oh, there you go. And look at that. A player from a minor character from Gears 1 as a cameo. One of those guys from that camp that we visited.
Holy shit! Oh man!
He's gonna die, isn't he?
No, he's not. Don't worry. You're fine.
Assist.
Fascist asses.
Remember, Dwebs, Dom and Marcus are cogs, so they work for the government. So.
And in order to, it's the usual. War requires strict measures, which which means that the commoners have their freedom limited. It's similar to what Starship Troopers does.
Also, how ironic, this guy has some word on Maria. We kind of already know.
Yeah, Dom even said, "Don't worry, let's just move on." All right, Mulcher, yeah. Yeah, but no. Let's just say it really is one of those things too, where let's just say I don't like. Yeah, it boils down to the fact too that they didn't even have any real good. They put Kate as the main character Gears 5, but they didn't really have a good reason to do so too. I'll just say that. I'll just say that for now.
Let's just say it's very fitting that Terminator is guest starring in Gears of War 5.
I mean, while Kate doesn't go full blown, you know, strong, independent female character who's a hassle to the men and stuff like that. She does have her moments where, yeah, the writing kind of veers into that for some reason, and it really
Distracting.
Not just that, Terry, it even kind of goes against her characterization in Gears 4, because, I mean, in Gears 4 she was boring, but at least that's it, she was just boring. At the very, but now they've made her even worse. I mean, but whatever, we can talk more about that one again.
So, just to recap, you're actually playing this, right?
Well, yeah.
Oh, I get that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of...
How do you think I recorded this?
Well, okay. What I mean is, like, the fact that this is preceded by, you know, that opening video by Cliffy almost makes you wonder if this whole...
This is playable, don't worry.
That is
That's
pretty
it.
neat, though. I mean, I guess you never know. Like, well, for all we know, this could have been just a pre-recorded thing for the deleted scene. But no, okay. So
Honestly,
you actually get to play
looking
this.
at how it's been composed so far, you can clearly tell that this part was more rough. Not completely unfinished, but more in a rough state because it's just a set of rooms for stealth and doing the same lever puzzles in order to, you know, pass through. Honestly, I can see that. I like the idea, but it was clearly meant to be developed a bit better than this.
I gotta say, it's a pretty unique idea to have deleted, you know, gameplay sections actually playable within the finished game.
I guess it
literally
works better
deleted
in this
scene.
case, Java, because it was still in a state where it was playable. Many stuff doesn't get incorporated for the very reason because we're not in a decent playable state. Therefore, otherwise we should be put in the game in the first place.
Well, I'll give credit. Like, despite being still not being quite as polished as the rest of the main campaign, at the very least free, and I do enjoy it as a
it's fine.
as a nice little break for like a nice change of pace. I like it better than the paid Gears free single player DLC. If I'm going to be totally honest.
Doname?
Oh, remember, Java, you mentioned this in the past, like Ram Shadow.
The single player Ram's Shadow.
That.
The Ram's Shadow single-player DLC mini campaign from Gears 3. Okay, again, I like it when we're controlling Ram. It's a cool idea, but those moments are short, and it's only 2 of them. And but you're mostly just playing with Squad, which is a complete set of new characters that we've never been introduced to before in the games. Again, maybe you introduced them in the comics, but I wouldn't. And they're nowhere near as cool as the Delta Squad. And fun fact, the woman in that squad is voiced by Laura Bailey, so it's interesting.
Huh.
Again,
So it's a precursor to Gears of War 4, which tried a similar thing, you know? New squad that aren't the Delta Squad and somehow turned out to be rather lame.
I guess Rod thought, you know what, nobody remembers this woman from Gears 3 because she was boring, so it's not like anybody's gonna notice that Laura voiced a character in this series before.
I really do wonder how Laura's type of contract worked after the VA strike, because she lost so many iconic roles she had been voicing recent years, like a character in League of Legends, Chun-Li, Lucina and stuff like that, but she kept stuff like that character from Gears.
You know what's sad, Tio? She's actually a fan of
Kinks,
Gears,
kinks.
though. Well,
Exactly.
she's a fan of Gears of War.
Well, I guess she stated in interviews because that makes you wonder if it's a PR answer more than anything.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, it all depends on things.
To be fair, PR never really requires anyone to say, "Oh, I've been a long-time fan of this game" or whatnot. So I guess I'm more inclined to believe that she's genuine when she says that she's a fan of Gears of War.
Maybe she was fine with 4, because there are fans who will tell you that Gears 4 is kind of generic, but it's okay, it's fine.
Gears of War 4 is like...
It's only in Gears 5 that it becomes genuinely problematic. Really.
Oh yeah.
Mind you,
Gears 4 is just mediocre and whatever.
Mind you, the fact that Laura is a nerd in herself, it's pretty noticeable. Like I mentioned in the past, hear or watch at least the podcast that she and the other voice actors do for their Critical Role, D&D roleplay, because those are a blast. But yeah, I would like to see those introduced for myself.
Yeah, Gears of War 4 is like Halo 4. Like, a lot of people really did not like the story, really did not care for some of the multiplayer stuff, but at least they could say, okay, it's, this new company's first or second time trying, maybe they'll get better.
Where? Oh, there we are.
I think the primary problem is how the developers working at the coalition, especially considering how recently Rod Ferguson left the coalition at the time of this recording. It's been like 2 weeks since Rod Ferguson announced his departure for the coalition, and he was the only member of the original team from Epic still there.
But if 4 and 5 weren't that good, does that really matter that much?
No, it doesn't, honestly, because a lot of the older fans have really turned against Rod by this point.
Major problem with is that he left them to go to Activision Blizzard instead, which is now in not really a good spot. Mind you, you can see this in a positive way. Let's say maybe it will influence the team working on the new Diablo game in a positive manner. But it's most definitely wishful thinking.
One has to wonder, though, okay, if he had a lot to do with the leadership of Gears 4 and 5, that's a problem.
Well, Joe, but he was the studio head of since the beginning the coalition was formed, and he was the scenario director of Gears 5. So Gears 5 is his baby.
Oh, like, and Gears 5 is worse than Gears 4.
Think of it like, how in Last of Us and Uncharted 4, Neil Druckmann is the scenario director, and God, I keep forgetting his name. Libs. The Neil Druckmann's former partner.
Bruce Straley?
That's it, Bruce Straley. Thank you. For some reason, I keep forgetting his name. Bruce Straley was the gameplay director of those games, and Neil Druckmann was the scenario director, aka directing cutscenes and all that good stuff. So Rod was doing the same thing that Neil Druckmann was doing for Gears 5. So Gears 5 is his baby. It's his vision.
Oh dear.
It's like to have said, it's probably for the best.
And now he's going to work at a company that couldn't even get a remake right.
Yeah.
Oh boy. It's like a match made in hell, boys.
To be fair, he didn't write the game, but he was a director and producer, so he was...
Not just that, Jovan. At least he's occupying the Diablo section of the team, which, to be fair, Blizzard now is dividing a couple of teams. The one working on Overwatch, the other one Warcraft and stuff like that.
He's hoping they can make something work with that. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta say, there is...
But just finish what I was saying. There's a thing, hold on, I think we're gonna end this now.
I was about to say, there's quite a lot of decent content for a deleted scene. This really must have been pretty far.
This is an entire chapter.
Dom, thanks for pushing through.
Oh.
Done it alone.
Aww.
You got it, man. But we're not done yet.
Well, you must be crazy then, because I'm getting my ass out of here. Later, fools. Motherfuckers going deeper into the hollow.
Okay then.
Alright, so that was the deleted scene. The road to ruin.
Yeah, that was a nice bout of gameplay there. Again, I gotta say, I get why not a lot of games could do it, but man, just imagine if more games could do it. Then
Alright,
again,
so
if
yeah.
Twinsanity could do it, we'd probably have a whole gallery's worth of deleted stuff to play through.
In the next part, we'll get back to the main campaign. Now that we've checked out this little deleted scene. Just to finish real quickly, that's the thing, Joe. I'm absolutely convinced that the people working at the coalition right now don't really have any kind of attachment or passion for what gear. They just want to turn Gears into something completely different.
Well, God help fans for Gears of War 6.
Well, whatever. We'll have to wait and see. See you then, everybody.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.